50-year mortgages, guys. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I don't know. The way this is being presented in the media as some kind of a good thing is blowing my mind. Like, how come nobody's talking about the elephant in the room? Like, hey, this isn't a solution at all. This is making the problem worse. This is getting people in more debt. When you stretch out your loan for longer, you end up paying more in interest in the long term. Is the state of American education so bad that people don't understand the basic mathematical expressions behind interest? Yeah, that is in fact the case. People don't get that. And the media is not helping. Gee, if I were pessimistic, I'd say they're kind of in on the whole scheme. In any case, let's try to breathe some common sense into the discussion. Even if literally like 5 people see this video, I see it as my obligation. Like, I can't just let my kids inherit a world where I didn't stand up and say something in the face of complete and total madness. Like, people are presenting this as a game changer. Like, Trump's got this new game changing idea, guys. Let's get people into lifelong debt. Okay, so for starters, maybe we should not rob people so much so that they actually have more money and they can spend it on things that they want. Like not sending their money to Ukraine, to the military industrial complex, to Israel. Yeah, I know. Who would have thought by not stealing so much from people, they have more money and they can actually afford things that they want? Crazy, I know. Number 2, let's stop printing money like it's going out of style. If you look at the amount of money that's been printed under Donald Trump over the last 5 years or so, it is bonkers. It's off the charts. It is going exponential. How does anybody think that this makes any sense whatsoever, that it's sustainable? Do people not realize that when you print money, when you cause inflation, that erodes people's savings? So now their money has less purchasing power. You're making it increasingly difficult for people to afford anything, let alone a big purchase like a house. So yeah, it's no surprise. Again, if I were pessimistic, I'd say the government's literally trying to make it impossible for people. When you realize that the government and the big banks are basically one and the same, it all kinds of it makes a bit more sense. It all meshes a little more cleanly. You see, the government loves printing money for a few reasons. Well, one, they get to spend it without taxing people, or you could say it's an indirect tax. It's this subtle sort of tax that people don't notice until it's too late. And the people who are closest to the money, the newly created money, they get to spend it at its full purchasing power before it's gone into the supply and diluted. It takes a few cycles for that to happen, right? If you imagine an island scenario where there's 100 people and they're all trading 100 coins, if one of those guys counterfeited 50 coins, he could start spending those 50 coins at their full value before people realize, holy crap, there's a lot more money going around. Let's increase our prices, right? And when you realize that banks are the ones who are getting that money, that's how money is created largely when the government prints money. It's a convoluted mechanism, but more or less, basically, banks type new money into existence when these new loans get created. And the banks are the first immediate beneficiaries of that. So I don't want to go into the full depth of that in this video, but if anything, or if nothing else, I want you to realize that this is being presented as some kind of like solution, some game changer, some new improvement. It's literally none of that. It is objectively making it harder, and it's making people worse off in the long run. Sure, your monthly payment might be lower, but you are now not going to own your home until you are practically dead. Okay, 50 years. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Let's talk about that. Do we actually own land in this country with property taxes? That's another thing. Like right now, I pay over $20,000 a year just to not be kicked out of my house in the form of property taxes to the government. And yeah, to the average person with a lick of common sense, they say, wait, hold on a minute. I thought you own it. Well, the government doesn't treat it that way. They charge you taxes whether or not you like it, whether or not your house is paid off. And once again, they spend that money on shit that you didn't ask for. Okay. So anyways, I'm going to keep it very short. And this is my contribution to the conversation, which is a 50-year mortgage is not some new game changer. This is the same old horse shit repackaged extended, making people worse off in the longer run, being presented as something good and new. It's pants on head crazy. This is Chuck E. Cheese world economics. And yeah, again, it's my duty to just speak a little bit of truth into the universe. Okay, there we go. Transmission out. Thanks for watching.